Welcome back, guys. This is wolfwire Studios and here I am with another devlog, and in this update I'm going to tell you guys about the landscape that I have created. So as you can see, this is the smooth sand texture from Quixel Megascans, and I have just created a landscape material for the first time, you can say, and then I started painting the landscape. Also, I added the buildings, or I should say specifically the houses. So you have two different types of houses. One is the square one and one is the rectangular one. It has a proper setup of props. As you can see, air conditioning unit, satellite dishes, metal shutters, and even water tanks, antennas, dishes. Some of the houses have the big towers. I don't know where that one is. Yeah, this one. Some of the antennas have bigger towers, and so yeah. Also, you can see the painting of the landscape here, and you can see it here. So let's just quickly go through about the process, how I created everything. Well, let me just quickly bring the window here. So I created a master material for the landscape, and the key thing that you have to keep in mind is use this node, the layered blend node. You can only use this for landscape. As you can see, material expression, landscape, layer blend. You have to use this and you have to add multiple layers according to your need. You can add them and it's a simple array. Now let's just quickly talk about one layer and I'll tell you guys how I did the rest of them. So which one? Let's take this one, for example, the gravel ground. Okay, so I took the three textures from Megascans, simple as that: the base color, the normal, and the occlusion, roughness, and metallic. Okay, I created a single attribute from this using this make attribute node. Okay, and then since I knew that the occlusion, roughness, and metallic texture is also having the contrast values, okay, the black and white ones, so I use this cheap contrast node, and these things are, these one and these ones are named reroutes. Okay, it's a new thing in Unreal Engine 5. So what actually it is this here, as you can see, the blue one and the green one, the contrast one, as you can see. So what we are doing is we are just using a simple texture coordinate node. We are multiplying the scalable parameter by the name of tiling, which I created, and then feeding it here in the named reroute, which is this one. The same is here. I created a scalable parameter by the name of contrast. To adjust the values, I can just make it, let's say, 1, and I can save it. And this contrast here is acting here as the named reroute for every texture set that I'm placing in this material. Okay, so it's a modular approach. If you want another layer for your landscape, you just have to add the array in the landscape blend node, simple as that, and place the textures here, as you can see, and that's pretty much it. Like, there's literally nothing else than this. You're just adding them, you're using named reroutes, and then you are sending it off to this master layer blend node, not the master material, sorry, the layer blend node. And these are named reroutes so that, you know, the blueprint is like clean and like clear to me. Like, a lot of people complain that it's a spaghetti. It's not a spaghetti if you know how to manage it. Simple. Anyways, so that's how I created the landscape material. I have multiple layers, around 10, and since I wanted to use the contrast one, as you can see here, all I had to do was on this layer blend node, just change the blend type from weight to height, and you'll have another slot for just the height value, and you can add the contrast from the occlusion roughness map and then send it in the height value. Okay, so here we are, and that's why I'm getting such proper blends. As you can see the blend is really proper and it is looking really good, because, well, why not? I know it is repetitive in nature. I don't know why it is repetitive, although my tiling is at 0.2, so it shouldn't be repeating, but I'll try to fix it, no issues. Let me just full screen. So this is my landscape painting for Annex. As you can see, the grass textures, and then you have, of course, stone, the cement stone, or whatever you call this thing, the hexagonal cement stone. And I painted like so close to the courtyard, the cement. The same texture is here, as you can see. I don't know what happened to this area, I'll fix it. Yeah, and here is the sand texture at the border, another grass, and that's all. and this is the different type of soil. Okay, so this is the annex texture. Okay, and let's just quickly move on to the consulate. Here we have the consulate. As you can see, I tried to keep them as real and as close as I could to the actual reference that we have using the satellite images, and that's the best I could come up with. Okay guys, like, things have changed. The satellite images that I have now are like so new comparatively. Like, this thing happened 10 years ago and a lot has changed in 10 years. Okay, actually this place is like, you know, remade into something else, this part. So I don't have the exact real data, but I did my best. Also, I added this road here and this tarmac. Okay, so basically these are the same the same rectangular shapes, okay, from Blender. I just have two different texture sets for these, and the tarmac texture from this. This texture, the one is used, which is used by this, is from Quixel. These and these textures are the ones that I made on my own in Substance Painter, like an asphalt material that I created. As you can see, it has these white spots which are reflecting, and you know, everything else that possesses this tarmac. Now let's quickly move on to the buildings that I have. Let's just take these ones, the ones that are here. Okay, so you have a building here. Okay, as you can see, oh yeah, sorry, my bad. So you have these buildings here. Okay, and they look pretty normal. Well, actually they are individual pieces. Let me just quickly show you guys the individual pieces that I have. Benghazi buildings, asset props, asset buildings. Yeah, see this door, or let's say this shutter. Okay, or let's say this door. Okay, so all of these parts, as you can see, are the key components in creating these. Now I created a blueprint that was actually able to randomly change everything, but it was very performance intensive. My frame rate just tanked and it was not viable. So I had to go the hard way. I went to Blender and I randomly arranged these pieces into making a house. So I made a cubicle house, as you can see, the one which is like typical neighborhood house, the merged one, the shared one, another cubicle which has no shutter in it, simple as that, and another one which is rectangular and has two shutters in it. And all of these are laced by the props. These are the free props. Some of them I could find on, you know, like free websites. And this water tank was made by me. This water container, I made it on my own and textured in Substance. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now the script that I wrote, let me just quickly show you here. The script is actually very simple. On construction script, I'm just using this blueprint which has the main mesh, and I'm using the house mesh. As you can see, a single mesh. I'm setting it as the static mesh for this component. I'm also getting a random material. Well, when I created this in Substance, I exported 3 texture sets. Okay, so I have 3 different materials for these buildings. So the good thing is, because this is here in the construction script, I can just use this random item from array and feed it here in the material instance, and that's all. Other than that, I'm just turning on and off the visibility of the signboard. This signboard here, I don't know, it's not visible right now. I'll show you guys this signboard. And also I'm just switching the material for the signboard, since I also created 2 textures for the signboard. And then I'm also setting the relative transform of the signboard because I want to adjust it, you know. And which signboard am I talking about? Do we have one? Let's see, do we have one? I guess no, I don't think so. I don't think so we have that. Signboard transform. As you can see, I get all of these values here. So I can just set the mesh and I can set the variable true. And I can adjust the signboard. I don't know where it is. Yeah, I cannot see. It's not visible. Okay, something is wrong with this mesh. Exactly, don't know what happened to this. But the thing is, you can see, right? If I change it, this mesh will change its material. See? It is now fluctuating between all of these 3 materials. So this is the small script that I made because I wanted some sort of randomness and I was not able to perceive it. So in any way, so I created this. I also created one more script that I have deleted since then, in which I was actually changing the shape of these materials by using the individual pieces, but it was very performance intensive. So I deleted that. I had no choice for it. Yeah. Default should be on. I don't know why it is not there. Yeah, as you can see, even saving and compiling it is a difficult task. And I still don't see it. So something is wrong. I don't know how, but I'll fix it. No issues. And you might be wondering why this white box here. Well, this was actually needed because if this is not there, these shadows are not proper, okay? So if I were to show you guys the asset here, see this? These are one-sided materials, right? So when the sunlight is reflecting from this part, since these are empty here, this whole part is being reflected here, and like there is no blocking of the light, as you can see. You can even see it here, okay? See? Although these walls are here, they're not blocking because their material is not two-sided. That is the problem. So I created a white box in the blueprints itself. As you can see, I created a cube mesh here, and it is not visible in game, it is only visible in the editor, and you can just adjust the scale accordingly, and it will be invisible, and it will also cast the shadow. So I have something that prevents the shadows from leaking. As you can see, none of them have the leaking shadows, and they look good. Now all of these have this thing toggled up, so I can just turn it on. Does this one have the shutter? No, so I can just turn it off and it will be invisible. But this one has a shutter, so I would like to, yeah. Now I will just reset it. As you can see here, now I can adjust the value. Just like the other blueprints that I have created, if you guys remember. It's exactly the same, like there is no difference here. Now I can adjust the Z value and done. Now I can adjust the scale. Let's make it 0.5. Simple. See? And the good thing is, since it's inside the construction script, if I adjust clothing department store, as you can see, it is changing between the two textures because that's how I created it. That's all. So yeah, literally guys, there is nothing much I can explain to you guys in this update. I just wanted to show you guys as far as the concept of painting the landscape goes. So this was how I tackled the painting. These are the layers, and if you want another layer in the landscape material, you just have to add it there, and this will be visible here. This layer will be visible here. You can adjust the order, and you can also add the data, which is the vertex plane data. So yeah, you can just select these, you can paint them in the way you want, and then you can smooth them out if you want. And it's because of that smooth, movement and the smooth transition that I have this. See, the sand is mixing with the red rocky ground, and the smooth sand is mixing with the rough sand here, and the transition is pretty smooth. So one thing that I don't have to worry about is the smoothness or the transitions. The thing that I need to worry about is the repetitiveness that I'll fix in the next devlog. So yeah, that's all guys. I know it's not much, but the next update will feature all of the props that I'm going to use in this game. And that's like, let's say computers, keyboards, cameras, screens and everything, simple table and chairs and whatnot, like even coffee cups, wall clocks. Yeah, I know I have a lot to do, and I will. I was actually lazy this weekend. I was just relaxing and all. And since I uploaded the last video, I have been working continuously on the landscape. It has been a tiring experience. Like, I'll have to admit, it was really tiring. But it's here and it's done. Now let's just have a play in editor. Hopefully the performance is not as bad. Yeah, the performance is not bad. It's around 50 FPS. I can even get more if I just, zoom it out and let it play on its own. Yeah, it's nearly 60 FPS. So as you can see, the transition between this asphalt material, this sand and the hexagonal material is pretty same. Okay. Now let's just quickly look at the other textures. Let's look at the grass texture. And here we have the grass texture. As you can see, the grass texture is blending with the asphalt texture. And this is the cloth physics, if you guys remember from the last video. And that's all. If I go on to this tower and if I show you guys what's happening here, just quickly climb up. Here we have this no man's land here, and the textures are blending perfectly, as you can see. So yeah, that's all the transitions that I have. And let me show you this transition as well. See, the soil ground and the green ground and the sand are blending perfectly. Of course, it's thanks to the smooth tool that I have. Other than that, if you guys want, I can just quickly show you a quick look of the houses from the close-up. So these are the houses. The frame rate is tanking because, well, these are still 2K textures, you know. So as you can see, yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's all, guys. Oh yeah, one more thing that I forgot to mention. I don't know how I could actually forget such an update. The character is back at the UE4 skeleton. Well, I had to get some other assets for the animations, the one which are, you know, like built for true first person assets. If you guys remember, the UE5 version was the liar animations and they were not good enough. So now I have the UE4 skeleton, which is perfect on its own. And this time the right click is an animation, as you can see. It's moving, right? See? It's moving. So this time it's an animation which is even more smooth and perfect. Also, I have a different reload animation. So if I just fire and reload, see, it's looking more realistic. I do have some more animations with respect to handling the guns, equipping, unequipping, and reloading in 2 different ways. So that's not a problem. And this skeleton is really good. It uses some virtual bones, and I can record my motion capture on these, and I'll be good to go. So yeah, guys, until then, I just have to do the props, and I'll come to you guys when I have done the props. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, see you guys in the next one. Cheers.